Welcome back to Trade Talk. Today, I'm joined with Elah West, the owner of Oak on the Water, a practice that combines hypnosis, somatic breathwork, and life coaching. In this episode, we dive deep into everything from how hypnosis really works to handling anxiety, depression, and the curveballs life throws at you. Elah shares powerful insights on shifting your mindset, letting go of the negative, and stepping into the best version of yourself. You won't want to miss this conversation.
Hi, my name is Elah West. I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I do hypnotherapy and other kind of treatment with clients. I am practitioner for all somatic healing, breathwork mainly, and few others. And I'm a coach. I'm a life coach that help people deal with all kinds of situations. I must say I'm not a doctor. I'm not intend to be. I'm not a psychologist. I work alongside psychologists or doctors, but I'm not taking any responsibility into medical things. Only work with people on areas that I can relate it to their areas in life where they need help. That was not very well, right?
That was an excellent explanation. And
was it?
It was perfect. But the one thing I do have to say, it was hard to even really grasp everything you're saying. Your tonality is so relaxing, it's almost unbelievable. I feel like you're putting a process on me already as we speak. I'm feeling more relaxed.
Okay, good.
Your cadence and your tonality, it's amazing. How did you even think about, when you said hypnosis and hypnotherapy, that's very intriguing to me. How did you even get into that space? What made you get into and want to learn that?
Well, I had a long journey of discovery. I grew up in Israel in a tiny little community that established by Holocaust survivors. So you can only imagine the mindset, the paradigm of survival that these people, the generation of my grandparents, my parents' generation born into it, survival, fight and flight, day and night. And into that place I was born, that one kid that always think, I don't like what's around me. I can barely breathe. There's so much heaviness. There's so much sadness. So in my own unique way, I felt I want to help people. I want to reach out and make people suffer less, being more happy. So I started already as a youth learning psychology. And from that on, I went to the Army, very quickly became an officer of special education. And there I developed even more hours and hours of education in psychology. My job was related to helping youth that came from very bad situation and had some problem, either drugs or crime or whatever, and I was responsible on their rehabilitation. So for that, I studied hours and hours of health issues along with psychology. And I have seen the marvelous way of meeting people and giving them the space of, okay, I'm here to hear you. But I saw how much it was lacking in actually taking these people into the next level of what are we doing now to change. So I kept on looking all my life, learn more psychology, more science, until I got into the subconscious mind-body world, where finally I could get some answers into there is a way to work with issues, limiting beliefs, fears, trauma, and it doesn't have to be grueling for hours and hours of digging into the past. In reality, we don't even know what the past. We're twisting, deleting, distorting things anyway. So digging into the traumas is not really helping for the long run. But working with your subconscious, for me, that was an eye-opener. For me, I got a lot of physical and emotional help myself. And from there on, my passion had always been, I've got to tell somebody. I want to go and help other people receive the same results and help that I got myself. So this was my journey into what do I choose to do in life with that passion.
This is unbelievable. There's a lot to unpack here. First, I want to talk about the children that you helped. These kids, youths, adolescents that were brought up in a similar environment that you had come in, very heavy, stressful, Holocaust survivors.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They grew up in the entire country, and Israel is amazing because it's melting pot. So there were different communities, different ethnicities, and they grew up in all kinds of backgrounds.
Okay, but they found themselves at some point in trouble.
Yes.
Whether it be with drugs, crime, what have you. And it was your job to help educate or transform their way of thinking outside of what got them in trouble to maybe be a better person and prepare them to go into the army?
Exactly.
It's mandatory in Israel for children or adults, I think maybe when you turn 18, to do at least, a minimum of 2 years in the army?
Right. In my case, they're doing a lot of pre-testing and personality quizzes and stuff like that. So I actually started first day in the Army. They told me I was chosen to become an officer, and I didn't go through normal training. I went directly into the officer training.
Why do you think that is?
I guess it's my energy, it's my heart, it's my personality. They saw a leader in the making from day one, and I was shocked and somewhat insecure. I didn't want to make a career in the Army, but I took it as it was and went along, and very glad for all that I had done. Your question is exactly pinpointing my discovery. These kids hated how they grew up and their parents and their communities. However, they couldn't behave and think differently than how they were taught. They were stuck in what they knew and hated. And that's the case for most people in the world. What we're stuck with are the things that we really don't like about ourselves. But nevertheless, as much as we don't want them, they're governing us. They're all we are. They're how we think, how we feel, how we behave. So that we're working with the subconscious is finally open the door for there is another way. There is a way to beat those things that you don't want and replace them with. So what do you want? How do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to think and behave?
Can you explain briefly the process? Let's say I'm one of those troubled youths, because I went through my, like a lot of the kids around my area in Western Massachusetts at 16, 17, 18, find ourselves getting in trouble doing things. So now let's say I come across your path and we're sitting down. I have a troubled history and I'm open to learning and being educated by a professional like you. What does this process look like? How do you even start to unwind this negative mindset to change it?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, everyone that is feel like they're stuck in a reality they don't want is dealing with stress. Stressed about why am I doing what I'm doing? Stress that comes before, while, and after that behavior, and feeling like I'm trapped. So the first thing before any other conversation, any other solution is teaching people how to relax. And it's one thing that we hear all the time, just relax, but we don't know how to relax. We're breathing stress. It's in the air, it's in how we think, it's the media, it's all over us. So the first and foremost thing that I do with every youth, with every client, is I take them into breathing and calming and relaxing that is deeper than even meditation. And people are shocked at first. I tell them to do movement with their eyes, different kind of breathing, and before they know it, my voice and the music in the background is taking people into a state that now they're no longer holding tight to their issues, the issues that they don't want, but govern them. And from that place, we can start working on every issue, if it's anger, if it's some kind of addiction or whatever. This is the place to look at it, to call it. Now, the person is still in some kind of a conscious. I'm not stealing them away from them. They're still in control. They can get up and leave any moment. But they're so relaxed that right now I can start bringing in their desire. I don't bring in my desire. I hear before, what do you want? What is the things that you can imagine yourself being happy? And those are the things that I am giving to them while they're in that deep, deep state. And from there on, it's like, wow, first session, few sessions into it, I can't believe how much I'm changing. What have you done? What have you done to me? And I say, I haven't done anything. It was you. It was all you.
Is everybody able to go through this process if they want to?
Yes. The question is excellent. Yes, everyone can, but recently they found that there are different personalities, different kind of people. Some are very physical. Those are the people that will use words like, I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, my heart is about to explode, and they're very connected to their physical body. Others live in their head. So it's constantly analyzing and thinking all that. So you have, with my conversation, I kind of listen very carefully. I'm almost spying what kind of a personality that person is. And I will decide how to go about with my tonality and the cues and the words that I'm using, either to take them into a lot of imagery and things that will work through their body, or keep it into a very analytical, word-like style. But everyone can, if they want, definitely. In reality, when I step in with my words, which is the person's word to begin with, they're already in a deep state. So they're breathing. They're willing to let go of control and trust themselves and me is the key. And from there on, for some people, it's all that it takes. Just relax and you have all the answers already within you.
This is extremely fascinating to me. So anybody that is struggling, whether it be with an addiction, maybe depression or anxiety, sometimes I've been fortunate enough to have these speaking engagements throughout my career and actually still have some coming up. And once I'm in the moment of speaking, I feel alive and there's no problem. It's usually the day or week in anticipation of this speech, and I've done hundreds of them. I still get an overwhelming amount of anxiety to the point where I've actually canceled a few of these, even though that was not in the best interest of me personally, my personal brand, or the company, because the anxiety was so overwhelming. There was no reason for this. It lives inside of me, and I don't know why. And it's not because of lack of experience. It's not from not liking doing it. I love it selfishly. I like the vanity of it. I like the reward that comes after the fact. But why do I still torture myself prior to these potential opportunities when I know this is never going to be an issue? And everybody in my personal circle says, you're the best I've ever seen do this. I've had all the affirmations. Why does that still happen?
Okay, that's perfect example. You know what you know here, but as probably you have heard before, and if not, I'm here to bring that fact into light. We think that what we know, what we think, what we analyze is most or all of who we are. In reality, this part of us, our analytical thinking part, is only 10% of who we are. 90% of how we think, feel, and behave are called the subconscious. And in that regard, we can find ourselves again and again going through repeated pattern of emotions, of thoughts, of behavior. And we don't understand, where does it come from? It doesn't make any sense. It's not what I want. It doesn't serve me. But it's there, and it's almost like it's governed me. It takes over me. I don't like it. I don't want it. But that is a perfect example. It's there for a reason. There is a history. There is a subconscious reason. Your history might not be yours, might be something that you got as a child from parents, surrounding, and children are like a sponge. So we are we are getting deep into our mind and into our body certain information and certain ideas that becomes like a prison that operates on autopilot again and again. 5 senses. You hear, you smell, you see, anything that reminds you, any trigger, and bum, it's pressed on the same automatic reality that you don't want, you don't understand. But there's 90% of you that is there hidden that operates like autopilot. So finding these things are the first step, the main step. And then acknowledging how would you like to be? What would you like to replace it with? And if you would have learned deep relaxation, which I'm sure you have, that beat that from the core. But in hypnosis, it's very gentle. It's very powerful. It's a profound vessel that I'm not asking you, tell me all your history, because some of these things are not even yours. You inherited it as a child. You will not remember, but your mind and your body remembers. So in a deep state of relaxation, bringing the other thing, what would you like to do? See yourself, experience yourself, not only in your mind, but in your heart. What is going to look like before? I'm preparing. Whether you speak positively, whether you breathe, whether you do something fun for yourself and building up that excitement, that can beat it easily.
So I could overcome this.
Absolutely. It's called brain plasticity, neuroplasticity. The neurons and the pathways and the wiring and programming in our mind that are operating on an automatic can easily change if you want and if you allow yourself to go through that.
I think off camera, we're going to have to schedule something like that because that is one area. Now, here's another one, and maybe there's people in the audience that like this, and I've taken a lot of heat over the years on this. And I do believe it was something that when I was younger, but I don't know what it was. Still to this day, I do not eat red meat or hamburgers or steak. And it's not because I don't want to. There's something that has happened. Even the smell of a steak makes my mouth water to a point where I'm almost disgusted. Probably about 20 years ago, I was convinced that I was talked into being hypnotized, and it worked. It worked for about a week. I was able to eat steaks, which was very profound to me. Then I was at a customer's house doing a shower door install, and they were cooking one in a broiler, and I was upstairs, and I just caught the right smell at the right time, and boom, it put me right back to where I was before. So it wasn't a permanent fix, and I had only been hypnotized one time. Can you speak to that? Are people able to, is that something that can be changed as well in our mind? You know, I think I can't eat it, but in reality, obviously I can because I have done it before.
Right.
There's something that powerful that will activate other things within my body that say, Keith, don't touch that. You're going to make yourself sick.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, we got to think about what I think, what my body does, and there is no separation. The mind and the body operates together. Every part of our body, every organ has memories and have reality of trauma, satisfaction. It's not just the brain. The heart has even more memories, more powerful magnetic areas that operate in and out. So the body and the mind works together. And what you describe is very typical. When I have clients coming, I let them know changes are going to happen, but you'll have to want to do the work. So I record the session. Real change happen with repetition, usually recommended 14 to 21 days. Repeat over and over because we're talking about years and years of a pathway of thinking, of feeling that affect the body, whether it's the body started it and then it got to the thinking, or the thinking started it and it got into the body. But they're linked. They're connected. So repetition is the key. Even if you feel that you have passed that and you have overcome, you have to keep on loving yourself enough and repeat it over and over, whether you hear my recording or learn to do it yourself, which is what I teach every client. I educate. This is how you work. This is how you take yourself into self-hypnosis to beat that area, and after that, any other area.
Oh, wow. So you don't even, once you've gone through a class with someone like yourself or another professional, you can then start to do this on your own. You don't necessarily need to go to someone. So if somebody saw you in one of these communities, because you go into communities and you talk to groups of people or the whole community in itself, after watching you speak or maybe doing a private session with you, it's something that they can carry with them for the rest of their life, and they can do it on their own.
Absolutely yes, but not right away. Because the key for hypnotherapy is you have to be super, super relaxed and in a way kind of like empty from stress, from negative resisting thoughts. Hypnotizing yourself, you've got to first practice how to do the breathing and the emptying of yourself, of going deeper and deeper and deeper into state.
And when you say get extremely relaxed, you're naturally. We're not taking any medicines. You're not smoking weed.
None.
You're talking straight breathing, full-on relaxation.
Breathing, and along with my cues. For some people, I'll do eye movement, kind of like EMDR or whatever. It depends the person, and again, their personality. But before you can actually start doing a very profound self-hypnosis, you need to learn these things. Because if you get into self-hypnosis and you're still in the stress, you're just hypnotizing yourself again, and even worse sometimes, to your issue, to your stress. So I teach people first how to just relax. Once they master that, they can write few cues. I am going to sleep at night. I am becoming a loving person. I don't know, whatever their topic. And then little by little. But eventually my heart and my desire is to educate people how to help themselves and grow with that, as I do for myself. I keep on growing.
I love that. What do you think one of the biggest misconceptions of hypnosis is?
Well, Hollywood killed that gift, for sure. In Hollywood, they portray it as something so evil with stealing people's memories and mind. Not so. This is all just a myth. Hypnotherapy, or hypnosis as a whole, is the word hypno comes from Greek, and it means sleep. That's why a lot of therapists will say deep sleep, which is some kind of a cue for the brain. Sleep is when the mind and the body are no longer activated. But in reality, it's mainly about taking the person into a state from being fully awake and thinking, that is called beta wave brain movement, into alpha state and theta state, where fully relaxed, peace. I add into it all kinds of visuals. It depends on the person. Light is very helpful. Water, that is like you are a plant that's nourished by water, and all kind of things. But once you're in that deep state, that is the actual hypnosis. And I can do it as a therapist with a client, or a person on the street that is on a panic attack or fainted, using very simple tools in helping a person calm down, get back to a normal state of breathing, thinking. And that's the hypnosis part. So there's nothing evil about it. And I make sure everybody knows from day one, you're still in control. You're still awake and hear me unless people fall asleep. And then I have to do the uncomfortable thing of like, Keith, now you wake up. Now you open your eyes, raise a hand. I want to see that you're with me. But unless people fall asleep, they're there, they hear me, but they're so relaxed. And again, it's only through their own willingness, breathing. There's no substance here.
This wasn't a question that I had prepared, but you just touched on this. So in the sales world, I work alongside with your husband, and we're in sales, and sometimes we are called in at a point of the construction process where they have been battered with negativity problems. And even though we haven't done anything yet, you know, what's the saying? It's not the last straw. It was just the final straw. Like, they're at their wit's end a lot of times when we get there, and they have ran out of patience. And sometimes just the littlest thing can set them off. You know, they take their first shower and there's a drop of water outside. It's like, I paid you $2,000 and my bathroom's flooded. You know, obviously they're over exaggerating. What is something that we can do or say if we're communicating over the phone or in person to just help be able to create an environment so we can have a conversation? Because obviously they're not thinking logically at this point. They're overwhelmed in their own emotions because of their past experiences. Is there something that we could say or something that we shouldn't say to make it even worse?
Well, definitely what you say will matter, but way before what you say is your energy, is your frequency. So what I do in my profession and in my everyday life, I make sure, especially if I go out and meet with other people, to raise my vibration to a state of calmness, a state of love. And when we talk about electromagnetic, electro is representing our thoughts, our decision. Magnetic represent the heart, the body, the emotion. And when the two of them are united, are aligned with each other, there is a powerful, powerful energy that takes you inside and projecting outside. And that effect on people is very, very powerful. First of all, you're very protected. People's energy does not sapping into you and affecting you, because when those contractor or anyone that we meet are so angry and lashing out, we can easily, I'm an empath, I can easily be very affected, and just by a facial expression, I can feed into it and it's exploding. So if it's protecting me, and then out of that space, there is the whole thing about mirroring in NLP. You meet a person like that, you start breathing kind of like theatrically. You do it a little bit more than just for yourself, but in a calm place, like start. Yes, I see. Wow, I can hear you. Stuff like that, you're breathing and you're talking peacefully, changing the energy immediately. And from there on, the wisdom of experts of sales like you guys, I think that the main thing is not to rush so quickly into the solution, the facts, but more to the person standing before you. I can see that must be very frustrating. I hear you. And you keep on breathing.
This is gold. This is gold. I can almost see in one or two of the situations where I was able to tame a very irate situation, this is exactly what happened. Because and correct me if I'm wrong, but it takes two people to argue and fight. But if one is hostile and the other is very calm and methodical, you can almost turn that argument into a dance by being calm. And you touched earlier on subconscious. Is this calmness? Is that person's subconscious picking that up, and that might be a cue for them to say, maybe, why am I acting this way? I don't need to be acting this way. Here's a person that's willing to help me, and their subconscious is recognizing, wow, they're not pushing back on me, so this is probably somebody I should talk nicely to because it seems like she's willing to help me.
That is a very analytical, advanced thought. Probably the people that are so heated, so angry, not probably, they are suffering, they're in pain.
Right.
And they need desperately, their body, their mind desperately need, help me, I don't know, I'm in terrible pain and stress right now. So the moment they meet, and it's subconscious, so there's no wording to it. Perhaps the only wording is, here's something that feels a little better for me. It's energy.
It's energy.
Your energy, meet them and they can't resist it. It's like their invitation to, and they're not aware of it. It's not going into, wow, that person is really, it goes into, there is an energy that can, calm me.
I I am assimilating with what you're saying more than anything, connecting more than anything that I've ever heard, because I've been in these situations. And like what you said earlier, Hollywood doesn't portray good negotiations or good sales calls, but this is one of those because nothing's ever said. It just happens. And very few people understand how to perform this, just like you're speaking to somebody who's under a lot of distress or anger and they're suffering. But a very good practitioner of sales is somebody that understands these principles, and it's never talked about. How do we get you in front of more people to educate and put them in a better energy to be able to cope with sometimes this miserable world that we live in and is just full of negativity?
Right. Well, first of all, just like me, any person that tastes the real change, the real transformation, is now an ambassador that won't sit at home and just relax and enjoy their treasure. People go out there, and I've got to tell somebody, I've got to go out and bring more people into the treasure that I found. So
why is that?
Because the suffering that we experience in the world right now is a deceit. We think we are the richest, we have everything with all the technology and all that, but the world is operating under so much stress, all this information, all that. So people who find the ability, and I'm talking about people coming to me, help me find love, help me lose weight. I have a story about a girl that I helped her get pregnant after years of trying without any medical reason, and now she's holding a twins in her hands. So it's like once people experience the ability, it's not just the result itself, but the ability. I have changed myself. I have broken through limits and experienced that they want to go and tell the world. But beyond that, my passion is I'm going to travel different communities. I'm already working in one community doing meditation and different kind of classes and building a community with that knowledge, because it's a noble thing to say, you've got to love all people. You've got to understand all people. If we start understanding that those nasty people that are so angry at us, those contractors that yell because of that one drop of rain, it's not really them. It's not really how they want to be. I bet you they go home and feel terrible. Why am I doing that? And probably they're doing it to their loved ones as well and feel terrible about that as well. So if we start seeing the world through the eyes of that person's behavior is not necessarily who they are, they're trapped in their subconscious. They're trapped in a behavior, in an emotion. So building communities, building relationship on that foundation is really the ability to love, to forgive, to not judge people, to not jump in the negativity and start feeling and seeing the beauty that is in this world of each soul, each living soul.
I love it. I love it. What's the difference between the stage of hypnosis and, let's say, clinical hypnosis?
Okay, hypnosis as a whole is very relaxing. You get in your body and in your mind into a space of quietness. Most people get to see light or not see anything, just plain, and their whole body is very, very relaxed. Their racing thoughts, their monkey mind is calming down, and they're feeling like everything is slowed down. Hypnotic, that is therapeutic, is taking you into a deeper level that right now you are receptive for cueing, for sentences, for journeys of either guided meditation or just affirmation of different things. And so it goes even deeper. I personally don't do medical hypnosis where people can do surgery, root canals, or whatever without any help from any anesthesia.
This is possible?
It's very possible. I chose not to do it because my view, my passion, my heart is more helping on the emotional trauma, I want to help people find love, get pregnant. This is my heart because of my childhood. I don't want to deal too much with the depth of medical and surgeries and all that. I want to deal with where the light is, where the life, being a creator of life, or actually helping people create their own life. But it's possible.
Well, that's fascinating to me. Is there a story, and you mentioned help get pregnant, is there a story that you can share that might open people's eyes to how powerful this is when you help them get into that state of relaxation and let go of some of these?
Definitely.
Traumas.
This lady had suffered for years. I've seen her crying in the pool, and I told her, honey, I can help you. At first, she didn't believe. It was years and thousands of dollars. But from first session, she was like, wow, I'd never been that relaxed. I can't believe it. And then from there on, again and again and again. And
wait, let's back up. You missed it. She was apprehensive about doing this with you. Like, how did you get to the point of actually being able to help her?
I almost forced her. I told her.
So you were just persistent.
Right. I was persistent, and she didn't have to pay me anything. I said, it's my desire to prove to you that you can, and I believe in you, I believe for you. So she was willing to give it a try. And then I just...
How long did it take you to get to that point?
Very quickly.
You saw her at a pool suffering, and you...
One conversation, and then she told me, okay, I'll call you. That day already, I told her, do you have 25 minutes? Yes. Go into a quiet room, put on earphones. First session was even on the phone.
You didn't? It wasn't even person to person?
No. I actually prefer most meeting not doing in person because I like people to be safely at their home.
Help let their guard down.
Right. I don't want them to come from that state back to the road, back to the stores and all that. I prefer, especially if it's problem with sleeping or all that, right where your natural place of battle. That's where I want to create the light. So
that's cool.
I absolutely love working with Zoom. If it's something physical, yeah, I would be there with them. I will help with a little bit of Reiki-like energy. But with this woman, she told me right up front, I never got past week 3 and the ultrasound, all that, and we kept on working again and again, and she kept on changing, learning, and that's the power of hypnosis. You're changing from the inside out. So all of a sudden, boundaries, different aspects that we barely even touched. But she mentioned, I have a hard time when stresses from my mother or different people come. Okay, I just touch it, planted it into the next hypnosis before she knows it. Whether she remember or not, you know what? I found my voice. I found my way. And that's all naturally happening in the process. I have another fascinating story, that's related actually to breathwork, which is another tool that I use a lot with clients and see miracle upon miracles. So that guy, Vietnam veteran, a friend from university, I always knew him as the real stiff-neck, not being able. So he's like, the neck is caught. And he never told anyone why. So I took him through breath work, and towards the end, that guy on the floor started turning and switching. And I'm like, okay, I've got to quickly think maybe he's in distress. I need to bring calmness. And before I even able to lower the music and gently step in and say, okay, let's see what's going on. He's crying. He's almost hysterical. What's going on? You will never believe. He tells me the story. When he was 18 in Vietnam, he had witnessed his friend terrible death. It was very graphic. A kid at 18 couldn't handle it. He turned his head aside. And from that day on, that's the mind and body connection.
Oh, wow.
The neck would not allow.
Oh,
the
wow.
Trauma
so it wasn't an accident or fell out of a helicopter. It was strictly
trauma.
It's stiffening up so much that I don't want to watch this.
Right. That's how the mind and body are connected for so many of us. We're not even aware. What is this pain? What is this? It's working together. So all of a sudden, he said, through the breath work, years and years later, bang, it opened up. it was released. And he was he was on the verge of happy hysterics. So stuff like that is renewing is make me so happy. And
that story makes my hair stand up.
I know. I live from my successes to help people with, first of all, again and again, wow, the power of our mind, the power of, this is breath work. He was just breathing in certain way. Breath work is very intensive. We release a lot, and then we repatterning and all that. But there's no word involved. The person just lays there on a mat on the floor, and I take them through 45 minutes of breathing routine. And bang. So healing is all over, and it's in us. We just need to bring ourselves to the point of giving permission and understanding it's not my fault. This 90% is not even ours. There's something I want to tell parents. Listen carefully. I had lots of people telling me that they had weird fears over all kinds of dinosaurs, and it's like, oh, come on, or witches. There's no such thing. And eventually I started understanding parents are not guarding their kids very well. They think the baby in the crib, what do they know? Or they watch a horror movie when they think, oh, the baby is even next door sleeping. Well, even while we're sleeping, we're getting things inside, and then the horrible stories. So with my Jewish background, I've seen a lot of people that had all kind of complex of things that never happened to them, but it happened to Aunt Ruth, to grandma, and as babies or toddlers, they heard that conversation, and our brain doesn't know, especially for children, it's not really me, it's a story about other people. You hear it, it's filled with emotion, it's filled with energy, you take it in and it becomes yours. So a lot of people's issues are really not their own at the end of the day, but they can let it go. They can release, renew, and reprogram.
So anybody that is struggling and claims that their anxiety or their unwillingness to be happy in today's environment that was caused by an angry parent or somebody that was abusive to them within their family at an early age that has stayed with them, all this can be released through breath work and potential hypnosis.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
And no medicine is required, which I love that.
None.
You know, what is the saying? There's a pill for the ill. I hate it because that's just masking problems. That is not digging into the root of the problem to make it better eternally.
Exactly. And once you understand energy, the energy of how this world operates, it's physics, it's metaphysics. Once you understand that if you only do the work of switching your energy into calmness, into relaxation, you've already beat the odds of so much of what's going on inside of you and around, because in reality, angry parents meet a lot of that. The angry parent is meeting a kid that by now adopted that energy, that frequency. So it's already in me, and energy has a way of always going in and out, projecting and attracting the same kind of energy. So the parent is angry, the kid is angry. Even if they don't say a word, in their heart and mind, they develop the same energy. And it's their energy and the parent's energy meeting, explosion. So if you only learn how to do that little thing, which takes time and practice, but once you learn that, you are protected and you can actually start healing a lot of relationships and a lot of interaction, not only with the people that come near you, but the whole talk nowadays about the law of attraction and all that. It's really the law of vibration, because your frequency is vibrating and projecting it far, far away, and it will get exactly who you are. For good or bad, we get ourselves back. We attract the same energy. So if we work on different frequency, different energy, we change what we get, and we change how we affect and affected.
Wow, this is powerful. I love it. What role does belief or skepticism play whether hypnosis works?
Excellent question. Belief and skepticism are what we call the subconscious content. People growing up tend to think about belief as theological explanation. Like if you ask someone, do you believe in that religion? Yeah. Tell me why. Whoa. Details. Belief doesn't have to be linked to content. It could be in the heart, openness. I allow myself to trust. I give in control in, I need to understand everything. I need to memorize. I need to know how to say it, to think it. I'm just opening up, let go of control, and open up and allow myself the permission to just wish the best and see what's coming and just be able to breathe and take it in. And that is the belief, because we don't have to do content convincing. That is, again, you only help maybe 10% of you. If you open yourself, you have the answers and the positivity already in you. Like I said, people deep inside our mind and our body want the release, wants the good, wants the feeling good. And once you let your body and mind get into that space, they will know how to get it. And that's belief.
Before I ask this next question, I have to say I am very anxious for you to have a weekly podcast, because you're like my 100th interview, and I've never been more engaged with somebody on what we're speaking about than you. And maybe it's not even about what you're talking about, which is very fascinating to me, but it's how you're talking about it is very soothing. I almost feel more relaxed now than I was before we started. So thank you for that. Which leads me to this next question. What do we know about what's happening in the brain during the hypnosis? Are you able to articulate any of that to us?
Yes, if people are willing to hear a whole scientific, I'll try to make it very short and...
Yeah, dumb it down. Pretend you're talking to a 5-year-old, because that's about where I'm at.
Okay. So brain waves is what we experience in our awaken and sleep states. Fast brain wave is called beta waves, and it goes into different places in your brain. Mm-hmm. I'm not going into the details about right brain, left brain, and all that, front lobe, but there are different parts of our brain, and each one is responsible for another kind of information. So when it's going fast, they're battling each other. And if you see it, because people go into Joe Dispenza's, Daniel M., and all these labs nowadays that puts people with under a lot of those...
fMRI machines.
Exactly. And then they show them picture or video, and they see what happened to
Fires
the brain.
up, right.
Right. And so fast thinking, fast brain waves are causing a competition within your brain of that telling that telling that, and it goes into thoughts that are not aligning with each other. So you see the graph going, this is the analytical, this is the emotional, and then there is from another part. And you see the graph, and it's disgusting. And it's exactly how the person is feeling. Where if you start relaxing, all the brain waves start being a lot more mellow. And the magic is that when you're in the right state, they're all aligning. They're flowing in
unison.
And that is beautiful to see and beautiful to feel.
That's interesting. So one thing that I've noticed over some of the people that I've interviewed or even tried to study is, let's take people within the special forces, these real high-performing athletes. They don't necessarily have this tendency of their highs are really high and their lows are really low. They're almost kind of just always even keel. And is it safe to say that we are going to be performing at our best when we are more even keel and we're not having these really high highs and these really low lows?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we have to remember we can get more and more closer to that. These people have gone through massive training. So we need to yield to the process and know that how old are we? How many years of old programming we have? It's not going to change overnight, but the more we put into it, the better results we will see. But absolutely, when we, and that's where I'm educating every client and every community. When I'm doing my speeches or classes, I go and I say, I know you heard it many times and you will hear it another 100 times from me. Breathe. I teach people how to breathe because our breath is actually connected like links in the computer that we into every part of us. And how we breathe is how we feel and how we think. If we start slowing down, and there is different breath for people who come to me and need more confidence. I teach them how to breathe into building confidence. People who are stressed, I teach them how to breathe in order to be calm. But probably for most people, that basic breathing, and there's numbers, the square, the 444, I know people heard all kind of things. What I tell people, you don't have to be an expert in any of it. Slow down, deep breathing from your nose, and then a long exhale out of your mouth. You do that 5 to 10 times, you are a completely different person. And when I talk to groups, I put them into, I can do that with you right now.
I'd love to.
Okay. So close your eyes. And I want you to breathe in and out of your mouth only. Open your mouth. And only mouth, no nose. Only mouth, in and out. And fast. Even faster. And that's what people feel when they're in stress. Okay. A little bit more. 2, 3 more times. There you go. Now with your eyes closed, you can relax. Do you see any color in front of your eyes with your eyes closed?
It feels like it's flashing.
Oh, and any color to it?
White.
Maybe white. Okay. Flashing white. How is the overall feeling in your body right now?
Kind of anxious.
Anxious, not feeling good. Because that was the anxious breathing. All right. Now, still with your eyes closed, I want you to breathe in from your nose. Deep, and then a long exhale. Elongate those, exhale. Good, let's do it one more time. In from your nose and then out from your mouth. Exhale long. And one more time of just the same. And a long exhale. Do you see any color now? No. No flashing. How is it feeling in the body right now?
Amazing.
And all that was, okay, thank you. You can open your eyes. All that was what? A few seconds of just change breathing. So that little experience that I take people through, prove to them you are how you breathe. So you have a massive amount of control. All the control freaks. You have a tool that costs nothing and you can do it anywhere, anytime. Change your breathing. You will change your thinking. You will change your frequency. And from the inside and outside, good things are starting. You become a good thing. And you start attracting it and reflecting it.
This has to be one of the most overlooked things that human beings could do to better their life.
Absolutely.
I mean, literally in that 10-second exercise, I can't even put it into words.
It's magical. It's like magic, right? But it's you. It's totally you. It's all about you. You did it. It came from you, from your body, from your mind, that connection within seconds.
Is this a perishable? Is it something that we actively should be pursuing to do on a daily basis,
Absolutely.
on an hourly basis?
Absolutely. With my client, I tell them all day long. It's like training. You talked about all these athletes or top soldiers. They go through massive, massive training around the clock, day and night. And so when a person is dealing with massive stress or depression or all that, I tell them all day long. And in a time that I am feeling stressed, new things are happening. I develop something that I'm not familiar with, I force myself, if I forget, breathe like that all day. If I'm not busy talking, and even when I'm busy talking, slow down, take a breath. All day long, the transformation is there. Like I said, it's like magic, but it isn't magic. It's how we are created. It's how a human was gifted with the gift of our breath. It's how we are born. And by the way, you notice babies, they know how to breathe. One of the problems is that we forgot how to breathe. We imitated generation after generation that deep belly breathing. But babies still born and still know how to do it. We breathe shallow here in the chest. And our body is not created for that. The whole process of breathing was created for us to breathe deep, diaphragm. Feeling that balloon and then take the air in circular motions. Babies know how to do it. Somehow along the way, we forgot. So I teach people this is how you should live. All day long, whenever you forget, deep belly breathing. And slow it down. Slow down, giving you space. And like I said, the waves in the brain start being coherent, are aligning.
So for somebody, the people out there that are stressed or carrying all this stress with them and they're trying to get ready to go to sleep, you're suggesting that close your eyes and we're going to be taking deep breaths and it's in through the nose, out through the mouth, but breathe, feel that breath going all the way down, filling your belly, and then long breath out of your mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Right.
As many times as you can till you start to feel relaxed.
Right, and the secret is with every inhale and exhale, now make it even longer. Slow it down. Slow down is what our brain and our body loves the most. It's what heals us physically. I've witnessed myself many miraculous healings for things that the medical world said there's no cure for that. And I did. This. I did. I'm not Joe Dispenza. But I have stories that are fitting that style. I've healed myself through the power of belief. But again, belief is not fighting. I just allow myself to connect with my body, to speak to the body, because the body is alive, and speak with the right breathing and then the cueing. If you need to go to sleep, for some people it's okay. It's going to be okay. For other, it depends, your story and but you add minimal cueing. You don't need big stories. Minimal cueing, 1 or 2 short, very, very short and precise affirmation that fits your need, and just submit yourself to the process of that slowing.
And it doesn't matter what I think there's an old saying is your biggest problem is your biggest problem. And so no matter what it is, the breathing, the power of the breathing can help you get through that, if not take care of it.
Exactly. But again, going into the problem, our problems are not our problems. It's how we perceive them. It's the translation that we put. So if we are willing, again, it's humble our pride. It's humble our control.
So you're saying the ego is usually, or your pride is in the way of you getting past these issues?
It's the ego, along with, we have to remember, we are in a survival mode. So we hold on to anything that got me so far. I've survived, so even if it's nasty, I hold on to what I know. So once you're willing to say, okay, because in reality, what is good? What is bad in life? The biggest downfall of people brought them into their biggest success, right?
100%.
And the biggest joys that people got into wealth or marrying a celebrity was their downfall down the road. So in reality, we don't really know, and we shouldn't even decide what's good. Look at that. Is that good or bad? It's wonderful because it's all real crystal. It's terrible because it makes my hand heavy. It's wonderful because look at all the colors. It's terrible because it's too much for the eyes, and I can go on and on and on. So in reality, letting go of our translation and just say, the reality is that I'm struggling with that. But the reality is also that I can calm down and develop another view and another direction to look at it, to think about it. And it happens by itself when you give it space. We usually don't give space. We hold on to, this is what I know, and it works so far. So I'm not easily letting go. And again, most of what we think we believe, we think we know, had been planted for us by early on parents, school, media, whatever. It's not really us. Once we're in that quiet, slow place, we're meeting with us, with the real you. And then that's where the magic happened, because every person has most of the answers we already need within ourselves. We're just not used to listen.
This was very eye-opening to me. John had kind of set the table, but I didn't really, you far exceeded what I was expecting to learn today. For anybody out there that would love to speak with you or retain your services, or maybe even procure you to talk to their group of people, how would one go about doing that?
Well, people can always reach me through my website. It's called Oak on the Water. That's my Hebrew name. Hebrew names have meaning to them. They're not just names. So that's the name I got. I love it. It's very much descriptive of who I am, of my personality. Oak on the Water. My name is Elah West. And people can come into my website, ask for a phone conversation for free. I want to know who you are, what you are. Or meet me in any other way. I can give my phone number, and
you can do Zoom.
I can do Zoom.
You can do in-person meeting.
And I love doing classes in group, because somehow, as we mentioned, energy, whether it's breath work, whether it's lecture, my lectures are filled with different experience, just like we did now. The group energy is magnifying it. It's so much fun and
infectious almost. It spreads.
It spread and it lifts you. It really lifts people and makes it even more powerful for the people. And I love seeing that connection. I love seeing how people are coming and how they're leaving my classes. They're leaving best friends, and when they come, each one, I can almost see their auras, like, oh, the illusion of separation. It's just me and my story and my life. No, your story is the collective story, really, really. When it comes to energy, it's pretty much we're one long, big story. So yeah, please reach out to me. Please come and meet me.
I highly advise anybody that's looking for something different than medicines, or to just, this is the most simple form of self-healing, I believe, because you can do it yourself with the instruction of a professional that has the background to educate on something as simple as breathing can help transform your life. So, Ms. West, I really appreciate this. This was a really fun interview.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it too.
I'm going to go home and start doing some breathing.